All right, up next is Ambassador Kanwal Sibal, former Foreign Secretary, who's joining us. Sir, appreciate you taking out the time and speaking with us. In your assessment, what benchmark did Operation Sindoor set in our air operations?
Well, the air operations were extremely successful. In fact, the operation was largely hinged on our Air Force attacks on very vital sites in Pakistan. 11 air bases were attacked very successfully, as also the terrorist sites in Pakistan. So the benchmark that was set by the Indian Air Force was to demonstrate our capability in making pinpointed, precise, effective strikes on well-defended Pakistani targets at a minimum loss. That is one. The other was the tactics that were used. I'm not a military person, but from my conversations with the topmost people on the defense side in recent months, indicate to me that it was an extremely well-prepared operation, extremely well coordinated, practiced a great deal in terms of being able to successfully attack the targets in the face of Pakistani air defense. So very well-honed, well-planned tactics were employed. And of course, the other things that we talk about, the jointness of operations, the central role that the Chief of Defense Staff played in terms of coordinating the actions by the three forces, the effectiveness of that. And a lot of lessons obviously have been learned from this operation, because no operation, however well planned, can anticipate everything that's going to happen on the battlefield. After all, you can't totally predict what the other side will do. So I think some very important lessons have also have to be learned, especially keeping in mind that Pakistan will now beef up its defenses, will examine where its deficiencies were and try to fill up those deficiencies by acquiring weapons and technologies. So it will be a learning exercise from us from here on, how to then deal with the new methods of warfare and new technologies that are emerging, which will demand new tactics and new organization on our part, new, more effective systems of decision-making. There was obviously political guidance, but the interaction between the political leaders and the armed forces, which operated very well, will again have to be looked into in terms of going forward, if and when any other provocation comes from Pakistan, which requires a reaction from our side.
So, how did Operation Sindoor rewrite the history of India's war on terror, according to you?
Well, let me put it this way. One has to be realistic about these matters. You know, United States began its war on terror right from 2003 or even earlier. And it continued to fight this war on terror for decades. And ultimately, they had to leave Afghanistan. They couldn't deal with the terror from Taliban. And in Syria, they handed over the country to an ex-Islamist leader who was declared a terrorist with I think, a 10 million bounty over his head. So the war on terror by the United States didn't fully succeed. Look at Israel also. Israel has caused terrible devastation in Gaza and now in Lebanon. But it's not as if terror has been wiped out. So when we talk about a new template or anything else in terms of tackling terror, we should be realistic that terror has to be fought constantly. You have to be constantly vigilant. It can never be wiped out. If on the other side, as is the case with Pakistan, there is state support for terrorism. Now, what really has happened, and which is a lesson to Pakistan, that the years of India not reacting forcefully to Pakistan's sponsorship of terrorism are over. And if there's a major terrorist attack of the kind that happened at Pahalgam, India has warned that it will take action. Theoretically, we are saying that Operation Sindoor is not yet over, which means in subtext that the threat of terrorism from Pakistan is not over, especially with the field marshal, so-called Munir, who's a mullah and who's a rabid anti-Indian, anti-Hindu person at the head of Pakistan's defense. He's the chief of defense staff. So long as he's there, there always will be concern. And now that he seems to have wormed his way into the good books of President Trump, and President Trump gives him a lot of visibility and is rehabilitating him and Pakistan politically, one hopes that he will not get encouraged by this to do something adventurous once again. I don't think so. Pakistan has proved to itself that it is very vulnerable. It will take them some time to build up strong defenses, so they will not be in a hurry. So to that extent, the template has changed, but we have to continue to be very vigilant.
And so what is your message today to the families of the victims of the dastardly terror attack that took place over a year ago?
Well, obviously, the whole nation went into deep mourning because the manner in which the Pahalgam massacre occurred is horrible, horrible. I mean, you are singling out people by their religion and shooting the men in front of their wives. That's why it's called Operation Sindoor. There's a message behind it, a very powerful message, cultural and in a sense civilizational message behind naming this operation. So the whole nation suffered their pain. And the fact that India reacted so strongly, despite the fact that Pakistan is a nuclear power, and we have hesitated in the past to take such bold action, shows that Prime Minister himself and the leadership and the country was so revolted by this that they felt that they had to take action even if some risks were involved. So this was, in a sense, a show of solidarity with the families who lost their near and dear ones by this absolutely unacceptable and dastardly terrorist attack.